So there's been a sort of pseudo update to Tower Defense Simulator. As you can see, the Winter Spotlight things, the Winter Spotlight badges, they no longer appear on the game page. That is because Winter Spotlight has ended. The thumbnail has changed to reflect this. It no longer has the Winter Spotlight border around it. This is because the event was meant to last until January 2nd, 2025. And honestly, the badges are kind of useless in Tower Defense Simulator, at least. You don't get anything in Tower Defense Simulator. The tokens that you got from the badges, they're only for the Winter Spotlight game, not Tower Defense Simulator. This means that the Spotlight thing that appears on pop-up when you first join the game, or when you join the game at all even, after the 2nd of January no longer appears. You can't see the token or the thing, you only can see like this, so normally it would show the tokens and everything. Additionally, what has changed, and it's not up here, is that in the lobby you no longer can select the avatar changer. So you used to be able to select your avatar and then change stuff about it and then buy stuff. That was for the previous, I think, Halloween event. I don't know what it was called, I forgot literally. That was for the Roblox event. But the developers decided to keep it around for a bit, and even until December, but they decided to remove it for some reason. I don't know why they decided all of a sudden now was the time to remove it. And it was useless, yes, but I think the developers did make some money because the hats being sold here allowed them to make some profit of it, but then I guess the developers decided, nah, it's not worth it, so they just removed it entirely. Like I said, it was pretty useless, and in fact it had the adverse effect of removing my glasses once I selected it, so perhaps it's better that it's gone. In other news, the thing in the middle of the game, the firework and the bells, it's still not removed, even though it's what, the 6th of January as I record this. So why have developers removed the Winter Spotlight stuff, but they haven't removed this? I have no idea. They'll probably remove it in the next update, whenever that update is. This means if you go into the Frost Invasion event, or sorry, the Operation Ice event, you will no longer be able to find shards nor the radio spotted around everywhere. This means that you can't activate Frost Spirit True Form, which is 50% higher health than the standard version. This includes easy and hard modes. So if you wanted to beat the harder version of the Frost Spirit, yeah, you can't do that anymore. I mean, I would have loved to have it as an Easter egg, and I would like the badges. I would have loved the badges to be kept as, say, something like an achievement badge that you got, I don't know, like a premium or even a deluxe crate from it. But I understand that it was a Winter Spotlight thing, it was a Roblox thing, and the developers didn't really want to do it themselves. So yeah, I guess fair enough. And like I said, even if you didn't get the badge, you're not missing out on much in Tower Defense Simulator because they were only useful in the Winter Spotlight Roblox game. In other news, the firework modifier was removed from the game. Yeah, well, that was obvious. Another thing they decided to do was disable player leaderboards on tablets. Now, the reason why is because tablets actually scale up so that the player leaderboards take up so much of the screen's real estate, and I think tablets ought to use the mobile version. Like, yeah, there's more screen real estate, but if you're using, like, say, an iPad mini, as I am to record this video, well, record it on OBS here, then it would be a pain in the arse if there was a player leaderboard taking up half the screen real estate, you know? In other news, the Pyromancer plushie and the Pyromancer pin, they've all now sold out. This probably might return in the future, but as for now, you can't get it anymore. And also, when I reported on the Umbria Mini plush being sold, it was sold for about a couple of days in the start of January for some reason, and then all of a sudden, it sold out instantly. So if I were to be asked what is the most popular plushie, I would assume it's the Umbria Mini plush. Now, I have no idea why the Umbria Mini plush is the most popular plushie of all of them. Maybe it's the cheapest, but I just don't know. Actually, I do know. Y'all are just down bad. Anyways, in other news, the Commander plush, the max level plush, is apparently also in pre-order again. So this is probably also very popular. While the Minigunner is also in pre-sale, apparently-ish. All other items, they're being sold, and you can get them, apparently, yeah. In other news, the admin mode Game Pass is still 30% off. I'd assume that by the end of January, it'll go off sale. It'll not go off sale, sorry. It'll go into 8,000 Robux because you had a month to get it. So if you want to get the admin mode Game Pass, now's a good time because the developers will change it pretty soon. And the Sledger is still on sale, even though it's been a while. And the Fireworks is also still on sale, even though it's way past New Year's. I mean, developers didn't say that it'll go off sale anytime soon. It just says limited time offer, Fireworks emote now on sale. But it is still on sale if you want to get it. I'd imagine it'll be removed once the next update and once the next major update actually happens. So if you want it, get it soon. Now, weirdly, an update that the developers have done is they've removed modifier icons from games if it's map or mode specific. What I mean by this is if you go into Moonbase, you will see that the modifier for the Spaceman thing isn't here, but the enemies will spawn with the Spaceman helmet. As you can see here, the enemies have Spaceman helmets, so there should be a modifier here that says Spaceman, but it's not here. And it's the same for Abyssal Trench, where the scuba gear modifier isn't shown down here, but the enemies do have the scuba gear and the bubbles when they die. Same for the Talk Like a Pirate modifier on Black Spot Exchange. Those enemies do have the pirate hat, but it's not shown in the modifier down here for some reason. Also, I just realised Moonbase has the no placement of towers here in very, very light red. You can see here, like, it's here. If when on the crossover it's more clear, but you can see the red here. I just never realized that because of the change of lighting, I assume. But why this map seems very outdated. I mean, obviously it is, because you can place ground towers on what should be cliff spots. But yeah, the same actually applies to Badlands 2, where the modifiers actually don't show as well. Well, I mean, they do. I mean, actually, some of them do appear, but the enemy's beta modifier doesn't appear for some reason. I mean, yeah, the enemy's beta modifier doesn't appear in maps as well, but enemies do have the enemy's beta modifier. But it's in challenge maps, or, well, this map, the special maps, the enemies do not have enemies beta. So this does mean that if you go to Polluted Wastelands 2, the mystery enemies apparently return. I assume this is a glitch and the mysteries aren't actually meant to appear, but fair enough. They appear in Polluted Wastelands 2, so if you want to grind out the mysteries, then I guess Polluted Wastelands 2 is the mode for you. Additionally, there's been some changes to the mechanics of burning and freezing that the developers haven't really explained. So, firstly, burn damage now bypasses defense. So if an enemy has 100% defense, it's not being reduced by 50%. Well, the damage isn't reduced by 100%, which, so for example, if the Pyromancer deals 10 fire damage, it won't be reduced to 5 fire damage, which is the effect of 100% defense. Secondly, according to Mentin, the burn things from different towers now stack. So for example, if you have the Elementalist, Pyromancer and Trapper, the Elementalist hits the Bullock first, so its burn starts first, and only the effects from it are applied. After that, the Pyromancer starts, since it was second, and then the Trapper starts. Additionally, you can combine the Chiromancers and the Sledger's freezing thing, and the Chiromancer can actually extend the Sledger's chillness damage by 1. According to Mentin, the Chiromancer is applying the effects of the Sledger's chill buff, so it boosts the Sledger's current slowdown, but it also applies chillness damage just by applying it, so the Chiromancer's not dealing damage to it, the Sledger is. So this new whole Q thing is just a new thing that they've added, and we're not entirely sure when this was added, so we're going to say V1.46. And then with Burn, apparently Mentin just recently found out that it was just an Elementalist specific thing, because it looks like the Elementalist just overrides the current burn effect. The Archer's Burn also bypasses defense, except the Pyromancer's Flame just get overridden by every other burn, and like if an enemy has Burn from the Pyromancer applied, and Elementalist or whatever tower applies it again, that burn will overrun the Pyromancers. And then Mentin just decided to test all the towers that give burn, and then Pyromancer replaces Hallopunk. Hallopunk does not override Pyromancer, and he just gave up because it's just too complicated. So Mentin just says, I genuinely have no clue how the game decides which burn has priority. Mentin does fail to mention the Molten Monster. It does deal burn damage, so it would be interesting to see how much, if this would override the burn damage for the other towers. Why did the developers decided to make burn a queue and freeze a queue? I have no idea. Like, it doesn't make sense. I guess it might have to do something with changing the statistics in admin mode, and they just decided to rework a load of stuff there, so that allows people to change like burn damage and freeze damage, but I don't know. Maybe that'll be a thing in the future if they've not added the ability to change burn damage in the admin mode with the Game Pass.